Today, Saturday, May 17th, time for my weekly wrap up on my adventures in trying to start a business in the US, clean up what I have here in Canada, and look to spend some time in Spain. We leave September the 2nd. We're hoping to be gone until December, but it looks like even longer than that. We've allowed a young family from our church to come use our home while we're away. And so, even though we're not really sure where we're going to be yet, we're definitely excited to see what comes together. This week, just as a recap, was spent working with a new fella who's helping to take on a lot of the finance related tasks that I'm currently doing. And this is because as our team pushes towards doubling our revenue this year, there are going to be more people required to help prop that up and support it. And so I've moved our overseas bookkeeping work to our city here locally with someone, a fellow from Mexico who came to Calgary 2 years ago and is in search of a better life for his family. And he's overqualified for what we need. But in the course of helping us get to where we need to be, we're going to help him build out a bookkeeping business that he can use to support his family. And I'm pretty excited about that. Um, I was on a bit of an unhinged rant yesterday as I listened to the Canadian government talk this week about a 1% tax break for the middle class as a distraction for the big headline issue, which is they're just going to keep the budget that was approved under the previous government and not even look at anything new for the remainder of this year, which is a bummer. It riled me up a little bit because I can't even imagine as a business owner responsible for the livelihoods of 20 plus people, sometimes 40 people, how I would even begin to understand how to lead if I didn't know how we were going to spend our money, what we were going to spend it on, and revisit maybe some ideas that are no longer working. And so that's not what I'm going to recap on today's episode. But if you want to hear me be a little bit more unhinged, you can listen to yesterday's episode where I talk a little bit about that. The one thing I did want to bring up this morning, though, was our family spent some time with one of our friends' family last night. Another business owner, the fella's my pal is a husband. He's a father. He's a business owner, and listening to what his overall objective is right now as a business owner in light of Canada. And he doesn't have the same opportunity to leave and take a step of faith that, maybe God's got something for him somewhere else that just isn't on his radar as it is mine. And his end run right now is to try and generate enough wealth over his career or over his time that his family, his children have the opportunity to um, live a good life in Canada because he doesn't believe that his children will be able to afford homes independently on their own. He doesn't believe that they're going to be able to afford the cost of living on their own. And so his perspective that he sees the world through is right now, I have to build something of value so that I can allow my kids to live a great life when they start building a life for themselves. And then this morning, Lisa and I over coffee got talking about just how that worldview or the lens that you see the world through can affect how you get up and do everything every day. And for us, it has gone without saying, but I thought this morning it was worth saying that the lens through which I see the world through is one of value creation, value destruction. As a Christian, I believe God did in fact create all of what I see and interact with every day. He is a value creator. That the most valuable thing he created were people, and that every day being able to serve people is the most meaningful thing that can be done, and that living a life of faith, taking steps that may not have a clear destination, can seem scary. In fact, some people think it's foolish, but I think that we're called to go and push out the walls of the kingdom of God, as it were, which is, if everyone was serving each other, can you just imagine what kind of world that would be? And I think in the life of Jesus Christ, we get to see what that looks like. And so when I get up every day, certainly I'm concerned about my children's future, not with respect to whether or not they're going to live a good life or a life that is financially free, but a life where they have freedom and liberty. Because I think that with freedom and liberty comes the opportunity to serve other people kind of unabashedly. And when we think of going to the US, first of all, that's just an adventure. And I think that I personally want to be challenged to do that. I want to try and see if the American dream is everything that I hear it is. I think that going to serve people in the US is a great opportunity. But then in Spain, it's no different. We are involved with a local church there that is has a school, a preschool, a Montessori preschool, and we've been supporting them for the last year, and we'd like to do more of that. And so we're going over there not just to sit around and enjoy. The Spanish culture and the weather, but really to go there to serve. I still have to work. I'm not in a position where I don't have to work. Um, but over there, we have an opportunity to be a part of something that could be generational. We can't even begin to imagine the impact that helping a Montessori preschool in a country like Spain, the kind of impact that that could have that we would never be able to see the end of. And I kind of take that view with our business even here in Canada. I don't think that I'll ever be able to see the end of what providing a stable work environment means to the people that work for us who otherwise wouldn't have maybe the same kind of opportunities that they get with us. And I just think that's really meaningful. So as I was sitting with Lisa this morning, we were just talking about how it goes without saying that we're Christians and that we see our world through the lens, through a biblical lens, that God did all of this and he's continuing to do things with or without our participation, but that we get to come alongside of what he's already doing and we get to see it, or not. We can be ignoring it as well. Versus, say, my pal who he's a Christian as well, but he really takes a lot of personal responsibility for the lives of his children in terms of not having faith that they're going to be able to have meaningful lives and that he has to financially provide for them because Canada is going to continue to be a pretty tough place. And so he gets up every day and that informs his fears, his stresses, his anxieties, and then also the things that he gets excited about as well. And for Lisa and I, we certainly have been there, done that. And in our life right now, the stage that we're at, we actually see being able to be useful somewhere is kind of the priority right now. And that requires taking steps of faith. Again, we don't know what's going to happen later this year into next year. You'll get to hear me talk about it if you continue to follow along with this experience. But being a Christian, looking at the world through the lens of value creation and value destruction, as a husband, father, and business owner, trying to find ways to create value every day. And I think the easiest way to create value is to invest and serve people. Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean it happens without an enormous amount of effort. But I also think at the end of the day, it's something that you never get to see the end of. And that seems very, very worthwhile to me because most people, I think, are searching for something to fill that void in their life. You can only buy so many houses, so many cars, go on so many trips, wear so many different kinds of clothes. Like, I think we can reach the end of what we're capable of for our own self's sake. But I think that serving people is a bottomless opportunity. And I think that's the only thing that can fill kind of that bottomless need in our own lives for something that we just can't find on our own for our own purposes, that we do have to look outward. And so that's what I'm thinking about today. I know being an entrepreneur, being a business owner isn't easy. I think being a father and a husband, if you're privileged enough to be those things, it can get pretty challenging depending on what stage of life you're in. And if you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a northern star, if you don't have a bedrock belief that you stand on, then I think you blow in the wind and life, I think, just can be really, really tough. Conversely, if you can stand on a real bedrock of belief, mine happens to be a Judeo-Christian faith. I think that life becomes very colorful, very meaningful. I don't think life's meant to be easy. I don't think the goal is pure happiness. I think the journey is the point, not the destination. And in doing that, I think that doing hard things leads to some great experiences. And at the end of those hard things, you never really get to see what the final payoff is. Because if you're doing the right hard things, that probably looks like serving other people and helping them. And that we're all of us are capable of doing that in some regard. So anyway, that's all I'm thinking about today. And when I think about should I stay or should I go, I look forward to stepping out in faith, to going and seeing what God has for me and our family. And you'll get to be a part of that as well as I share this. So today, is it a stay or a go day? I think it's a go day. I think it's a permanent go day. So I might not continue to end every episode with that question. So I look forward to seeing what next week brings, and I will keep you posted.